All members will please come to the floor. All members, please come to the floor. Come to your seats. Because the hour of convening haven't arrived, all members, please come take your seats. Mr. Clerk, will you ring the bell? All members, please come to the floor. We're going to have the afternoon roll call, so all members present in the chamber will please vote green to signify your presence in this chamber. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machines? All members voted. All members voted. Wait just a minute. I'm going to recognize someone. I'm going to let them. I was going to make everyone aware, but I want you to do it yourself. We're going to get out of order, but I want to recognize Representative Patty Stinson to make an announcement.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, men and women of the Georgia House of Representatives, today is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it because I'm getting ready to ring the bell.
Ring the bell. Ring the bell.
My last radiation day. My last radiation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I could not have done it without all of you. Thank you so very much, Mr. Speaker. All of you. I love you from the depth of my heart. Thank you.
It just doesn't get any better than that. Thank the Lord and bless you, Patty. We love you. Mr. Clerk, I think everyone has voted. Will you lock the machines? Doorkeepers, will you please close the doors? After Patty gets out, don't close them yet. Doorkeepers, will you please close the doors? As is our custom, we will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this afternoon will be introduced by the gentleman from the 8th House District, Representative Stan Gunther. Chairman Gunther.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, it's my honor to introduce to you Reverend Stephen Taylor, lead pastor of McConnell Memorial Baptist Church in Hiawassee, Georgia. Before entering a full-time ministry, Steve spent 3 years as a high school teacher and coach in North Carolina. Born in Athens, Georgia, in 1963, he grew up in college towns across the Southeast as his family followed his father's teaching career. Steve graduated from West Jerome High School and attended Western Carolina University on an athletic scholarship, earning a Bachelor of Science in Education in 1985, and was there during his freshman year that he met his wife, Desi Frady. They have celebrated 40 years of marriage in December, and together they have 2 children and 5 grandchildren. Steve completed his Master's of Divinity at M. Christopher White School of Divinity at Gardner-Webb University. With more than 38 years in full-time ministry, he has served as the lead pastor of McConnell Memorial Baptist Church in Hiawassee, Georgia for the past 10 years. An avid outdoorsman, he enjoys working out, hiking with his wife, and fly fishing. And if you're ever in Hiawassee, Georgia on a Sunday and you need a place to go to church, I highly recommend McConnell because I've gone there before for a good number of years, and I got plenty of friends there. So if you would, please welcome our pastor. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, thank you so much for the opportunity to come. Speaker Burns, thank you so much for the invitation, and Stan, so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Let me ask you a question today. When was the last time you caught yourself thinking or saying out loud to someone else, if I had only known then what I know now? Now, have you ever wondered why we say that? Usually we say it because there was some decision that we made in the past that didn't work out the way that we had hoped or the way that we had planned. And it affected not only our future, but it affected the people around us in ways that we couldn't have imagined at the time. And while many people believe that hindsight's 20/20, hindsight doesn't give us the ability to go back and undo poor decisions that we've made, nor does hindsight give us the ability to look into the future, to know all of the different ins and outs of decisions that we will make. And so therefore, we have to ask ourselves the question, how do we make better decisions? We are not limited only to hindsight, nor do we have to depend on wishful thinking for the future. The Bible tells us that there is a place we can go with our questions, and we can ask the one who knows the answers and who is not unwilling to give us wisdom and godly discernment for the decisions that we need to make. The Apostle James put it this way in James chapter 1, verses 5 through 8. He said, "If you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking, but when you ask him, be sure that your faith is in God alone. Do not waver, for the person with divided loyalty is as unsettled as a wave of the sea that is blown and tossed by the wind. Such people should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Their loyalty is divided between God and the world, and they are unstable in everything they do." Standing here before you, I realize that leadership comes with the constant need for wisdom. Wisdom to discern not only right from wrong, but wisdom to seek the common good, to uphold justice. James assures us that whenever we lack wisdom, we have a direct line to the one who is more than happy to give it. However, the passage also tells us that when we go to the Lord and we're asking for wisdom and discernment, we must trust unwaveringly in what he has to tell us, avoiding the instability that comes with doubt and distrust. In moments of decision making, may we be people of faith. I think that is the challenge to each and every one of us. When it comes to decisions that we make in our personal lives, when it comes to decisions that we make in our public lives, we have to ask ourselves the question, how many of the things that we have made major decisions on in the past would we go back and change if it were possible? I would say, if we're honest with ourselves and the people around us, we'd say there are many of those decisions that we would go back and do differently. But we don't have that advantage. But we do have a source of wisdom that we can go to. As you navigate the challenges of leadership today, may you be reminded that true wisdom is never out of your reach. Seek it from God. Trust in His direction and move forward with confidence, knowing that He's faithful to guide you each and every step of the way. Learn to listen to the sound of His voice so that you can discern it out of the many other voices that are going to be clamoring for your attention, pulling on your shoulders, wanting you to make decisions that please them and not necessarily that please God. Trust the Holy Spirit to guide you through God's Word, and He will give you the wisdom and the courage to act upon what you hear from Him. Ladies and gentlemen of the house, would you stand with me as we pray? Heavenly Father, we seek your wisdom today as we carry out the responsibilities entrusted to us for the people we've been called to represent. Grant us clarity of mind, strength of character, and unwavering faith in your guidance. May our decisions be made with integrity, and our hearts remain steadfast in service to others. Let us not be tossed about by winds of uncertainty, but anchored in the wisdom that comes from you alone. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Join us in the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Perfect. Doorkeepers, you may open the doors. Members, you may join Brother Steve out in the South Annie room and thank him for being here with us. We appreciate your message. Thanks for making an effort down from Hiawassee. We appreciate you. Members, if you will stay close to your seats, we're going to go a little bit out of order this morning. We have a distinguished gentleman who's joined us here today. He's a little bit of a time crunch, so we're going to move into a invite resolution. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Resolution 313?
House Resolution 313 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Stevens of the 164th, Hitchens of the 161st, Jackson of the 165th, Westbrook of the 163rd, and others. A resolution honoring the inspiring journey and achievements of Nolan Sentinel Smith, Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Representative Carl Gilliard from the great city of Savannah. I think it's home to this young gentleman, isn't it? I think it is. He's going to tell us about this resolution. Representative Gilliard.
Mr. Speaker, I believe the eagle has landed on today. And members of this distinguished body, we're here today to hear from a great Savannaian, a great Georgian, and a great American. You know, when I was sitting there and I saw the people coming over to him outside and inside, I realized there's something special about Nolan Smith. And so I just want to read briefly a little bit of the resolution that Nolan Smith Jr., born in Savannah, Georgia, that's a clap by itself. In his early days of Calvary Day School, Nolan's passion for the game is unwavering. Many of you have seen him by ways of his leadership with UGA. Two national championships under his guidance and his determination to lead in areas of great leadership. Now, Nolan also played in the NFL, becoming a reality when he was selected by the Philadelphia Eagles in the first round for the 2023 NFL Draft. You all know beyond that, in the community, Nolan is always giving back to our young people. Every year he sponsors a camp. This year we partnered with him with Feed the Hungry and his foundation. But not only that, he did us proud and he went to the Super Bowl. And number 3 represented. And he brought us home a Super Bowl champion. Would you please stand with me because the Eagle has landed, and as we hear from Mr. Nolan Smith.
Put my glasses on, I gotta read something. First of all, I just wanted to thank y'all. Thank you to the speaker, Mr. John Burns. Thank you to the representative, Mr. Gilliard, for allowing me to have this. And thank you to y'all, the friends and family members of the House. And I am truly humbled today to stand here before you, grown up in Savannah, Georgia, and to be here in the Capitol. Yes, this is my first time in the Capitol. No, this is not my first time public speaking, but I feel kind of nervous because everybody in here is very businesslike. I am truly grateful and honored to have y'all support and for everything. As he mentioned, my foundation does a lot, and I'm just trying to do my part and give back and tell the kid that, you know, I can help you, you help him, and then as a generation, we keep helping each other, and maybe we can be better. And truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank y'all. Thank y'all. As a kid growing up in the state of Georgia, I'll never be able to say I will see myself sitting here now to receive something great as this award. And I know some of y'all might not get this, but sic nos non vogus, and always do the duty that lies nearest to you. And deeply, from the bottom of my heart, God bless y'all, and go Dogs.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Greatest organization on campus.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all again.
No. Thank you, Mom and your granddaddy, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's take a photo right here. Let's go. Mom, Carl, keep Mom and Granddad up here. Let's take a photo. Come right here, now. Then we're going to you got just a minute. You need to get into the first house. I'm going to go to history now. I'm going to take one right here. Hey, I'm proud of you. It's not often that someone's successful. A lot of times they forget where they come from. You haven't, so thanks for that. Thanks for giving back to the community.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Says Mom taught you all the right skill sets.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Members, Nolan is accompanied by his mother and his grandfather. They have a few minutes. He'll be in the South Annie room if you'd like to say hello and get a photo. Members, doesn't it warm your heart when someone who comes from Georgia does not forget where he came from and is willing to give back to his community? Thank you, Nolan. We're proud of you, and we appreciate you. Members, our Doctor of the Day is brought to us by Representative Holt Persinger. Is Dr. Ernie Raybon Rojas. We appreciate Dr. Rojas being here with us. He's down in the AIDS Center. If you need him, call on him. Chairman Hilton, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That's a tough act to follow. That great Georgia now Eagle. Go Eagles, E-A-G-L-E-S. He doesn't hear me. Your Committee on Information and Audits has read the journal the previous legislative day, and we have found it to be correct.
Nobody pays attention to us. Don't worry about it, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Hilton. Chairman Hilton, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to dispense with the reading of the journal? Hearing none, the reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? Hearing none, the journal is confirmed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day?
Representative, illustration of the 104th moves following be established as the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consent. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. First reading and reference of Senate bills and resolutions. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to adopting of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? Hearing none, the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. Mr. Clerk will read.
House Bill 742 by Representative Osteen in the 169th and Burchett of the 176th. The bill be titled Act to Amend an Act to provide a new charter for the city of Broxton.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 743 by Representative Fleming of the 114th, Williamson of the 112th, Martinez of the 111th. The bill be titled Act to provide a homestead exemption from city of social circa ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 744 by Representative Williamson of the 112th, Martinez of the 111th, Fleming of the 114th. Bill be titled Act to provide a homestead exemption from city of Walnut Grove ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 745 by Representative Martinez of the 111th, Williamson of the 112th, Fleming of the 114th. Bill be titled Act to provide a homestead exemption from the city of Loganville ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 746 by Representative Williamson of the 112th, Martinez of the 111th, and Fleming of the 114th. Bill be titled Act to provide a homestead exemption from the city of Monroe ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 747 by Representative Cummings of the 39th, Parsons of the 44th, Wilkerson of the 38th, Carson of the 46th, Campbell of the 35th, and others. Bill be titled Act to Amend an Act creating the State Court of Cobb County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 748 by Representative Smith of the 18th, Smith of the 70th, Huddleston of the 72nd, Howard of the 71st. Bill be titled an Act to Amend an Act placing the coroner of Carroll County on an annual salary.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 749 by Representative Smith to the 18th, Smith to the 70th, Huddleston to the 72nd, and Howard to the 71st. Bill be titled Act Amending, Act Amending, Revising, Superseding, and Consolidating laws pertaining to the Board of Commissioners of Carroll County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 750 by Representative Cox to the 28th, Bear to the 24th, McDonald the 3rd to the 26th, Clark to the 100th, Jaspers to the 11th, and others. Bill be titled Act Amending, Act to create the State Court of Forsyth County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 751 by Representative Campbell the 35th, Miller the 62nd, Evans the 57th, Lupton of the 83rd, Buckner the 137th, and others. Bill be titled an Act to amend Article 7 of Chapter 4, Title 49 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to medical assistance generally.
Public and community health.
House Bill 752 by Representative McQueen of the 61st, Hughley the 141st, Beckles the 96th, Flournoy of the 74th, McLean of the 109th, and others. Bill be titled an Act to amend Chapter 4, Title 25, Code Section 311152, and Chapter 8 of Title 35 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to firefighter standards and training.
Public safety and homeland security.
House Bill 753 by Representative Berry, the 56th, Fry, the 122nd, Herring of the 145th, Lalalier, the 59th, Reese, the 140th. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 50 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the Department of Community Affairs.
State Planning and Community Affairs.
House Bill 754 by Representative Horner, the 3rd, Tarvin of the 2nd. A bill be titled Act to amend and Act to reconstitute the Board of Education of Catoosa County, Georgia.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Resolution 557 by Representative Kendrick of the 95th, Holcomb of the 101st, Jones of the 25th, Evans of the 57th, Stevens of the 164th. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on Georgia's investment funds.
Ways and Means.
House Resolution 558 by Representative Corbett of the 174th, Powell of the 33rd, Ridley the 6th, Jones of the 25th, and Mathis the 133rd. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on the State Board of Registration of Used Motor Vehicle Dealers.
Motor vehicles.
House Resolution 559 by Representative Ballender of the 23rd, Jaspers of the 11th, Wade of the 9th. A resolution honoring the lives of Mrs. Ruby Floyd Grogan and Mr. Lloyd James Grogan and dedicating an intersection in their memory.
Transportation.
House Resolution 560 by Representative Reese, the 140th. A resolution recognizing and commending Dr. Michelle Lau.
Health.
House Resolution 561 by Representative Reese, the 140th. A resolution recognizing and commending Congresswoman Nikema Williams.
Special rules.
House Resolution 562 by Representative Reese, the 140th. A resolution recognizing and commending Senator Raphael G. Warnock.
Special rules.
House Resolution 563 by Representative Reese, the 140th. A resolution recognizing and commending Senator John Ossoff.
Special rules.
House Resolution 564 by Representative Hagan of the 156th, Ballard of the 147th, Camp of the 135th, New of the 40th, Taylor of the 173rd, and others. Resolution recognizing and commending Misha Maynor.
Special rules.
House Resolution 565 by Representative Reese of the 140th, a resolution recognizing and commending Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett.
Special rules.
House Resolution 566 by Representative Reese of the 140th, a resolution recognizing and commending Congresswoman Lucy McBath.
Special rules.
Senate Bill 281 by Senator Mallow II, a bill be titled Act to create Port Wentworth Convention and Visitors Bureau Authority.
Intergovernmental coordination.
Senate Bill 316 by Senator Goodman of the 8th, a bill be titled Act to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the probate court of Clinch County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
Senate Bill 317 by Senator Goodman the 8th, a bill be titled Act to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the magistrate court of Clinch County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 732 by Representative Townsend of the 179th, Deloach of the 167th, Saines of the 180th. The bill to authorize the governing authority of Glenn County to levy an excise tax. House Bill 733 by Representative Miller of the 62nd, Tran of the 80th, Holcomb of the 101st, Smith of the 18th, Kelly of the 16th, and others. A bill relating to insurance. House Bill 734 by Representative Hagan of the 156th. A bill to authorize the City of Vidalia to exercise all redevelopment other powers under the Redevelopment Powers Law. House Bill 735 by Representative Hagan of the 156th, a bill to authorize the City of Lyons to exercise all redevelopment and other powers under the Redevelopment Powers Law. House Bill 736 by Representative Jones of the 60th, a bill relating to policies prohibiting bullying and cyberbullying. House Bill 737 by Representative Smith of the 18th, a bill to authorize the governing authority of Haralson County to levy an excise tax. House Bill 738 by Representative Crowe of the 118th, a bill to abolish the office of elected county surveyor of Butts County. House Bill 739 by Representative Park of the 107th, Clark of the 108th, Okoye of the 102nd, Abstration of the 104th, McLean of the 109th, and others. A bill to amend an act providing a new charter for the City of Lawrenceville. House Bill 740 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, and Schofield of the 63rd. A bill to amend the Quality Basic Education Act. House Bill 741 by Representative Petrie of the 166th, Stevens of the 164th, Franklin of the 160th. A bill to provide a homestead exemption from Bryan County School District ad valorem taxes. House Resolution 513 by Representative Green of the 154th, Taylor of the 173rd, Hagan of the 156th, Carpenter of the 4th, Tarvin of the 2nd, and others. A resolution encouraging the United States Congress to investigate the dispersion of chemicals into the sky by aircraft. House Resolution 739 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Jackson of the 165th, Stevens of the 164th. A resolution recognizing Mr. Nolan Central Smith Jr., dedicating a bridge in his honor. House Resolution 540 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Glaze of the 67th, Lupton of the 83rd, and Henderson of the 113th. The resolution urging the United States Congress to adopt legislation requiring the Medicare program to provide for lifelong coverage of immunosuppressive drugs for liver, heart, and lung transplant recipients. House Resolution 547 by Representative Glaze of the 67th, a resolution honoring the life of Mother S.C. Frankie May Stiegel Arnold and dedicating a road in her memory. House Resolution 548 by Representative Glaze of the 67th, a resolution honoring the life of Mayor Betty Hanna and dedicating a road in her memory. Senate Bill 4 by Senator Dolezal of the 27th, Beach of the 21st, Robertson of the 29th, Walker of the 20th, Watson of the 1st, and others. Bill relating to elementary and secondary education. Senate Bill 17 by Senator Antibarte of the 31st, Dixon of the 45th, Gannon of the 47th, Gooch of the 51st, Robertson of the 29th, and others. A bill relating to public school property and facilities and statewide first responder building mapping information system. Senate Bill 27 by Senator Alberts of the 56th, Robertson of the 29th, Williams of the 25th, Hodges of the 3rd, Watson of the 1st, and others. A bill relating to stalking. Senate Bill 33 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Watson of the 1st, Coucher of the 46th, Watson of the 11th, Parent of the 44th, and others. A bill to amend the Georgia Hemp Farming Act. Senate Bill 61 by Senator Dolezal of the 27th, Dixon of the 45th, Hickman of the 4th, Still of the 48th, Robertson of the 29th, and others. A bill relating to delinquency. Senate Bill 82 by Senator Dixon of the 45th, Gooch of the 51st, Antibarte of the 31st, Payne of the 54th, Brass of the 6th, and others. A bill to amend the Charter Schools Act of 1998. Senate Bill 93 by Senator Kemp of the 38th, Hickman of the 4th, Jones of the 22nd, Dolezal of the 27th, Estevez of the 35th, and others. A bill to amend the Georgia Early Literacy Act. Senate Bill 100 by Senator Robertson of the 29th, Hatchett of the 50th, Williams of the 25th, Still of the 48th, Alberts of the 56th, and others. A bill relating to issuance of a new birth certificate following adoption and legitimation or paternity determination. Senate Bill 105 by Senator Antibarte of the 31st, Watson of the 11th, Goodman of the 8th, Eccles of the 49th, Hatchett of the 50th, and others. A bill relating to veterinarians and veterinary technicians. Senate Bill 109 by Senator Harbison of the 15th, Walker of the 20th, Payne of the 54th, Anderson of the 43rd, Robertson of the 29th, and others. A bill relating to life insurance. Senate Bill 119 by Senator Goodman of the 8th, Watson of the 11th, Hatchett of the 50th, Jones of the 22nd, Summers of the 13th, and others. A bill relating to general provisions for manufactured or mobile homes. Senate Bill 121 by Senator Harbin of the 16th, Robertson of the 29th, Hatchett of the 50th, Dixon of the 45th, Burns of the 23rd, and others. A bill relating to uninsured motorist coverage under motor vehicle liability policies. Senate Bill 129 by Senator Alberts of the 56th, Payne of the 54th, Brass of the 6th, Harbison of the 15th, Still of the 48th, and others. A bill relating to property tax exemption. Senate Bill 132 by Senator Strickland of the 42nd, Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Watson of the 1st, Jackson of the 41st, Anderson of the 43rd. A bill relating to insanity and mental incapacity. Senate Bill 140 by Senator Dolezal of the 27th, Brass of the 6th, Harbison of the 15th, Still of the 48th, Hickman of the 4th, and others. A bill relating to optometrists. Senate Bill 147 by Senator Rhett of the 33rd, Alberts of the 56th, Robertson of the 29th, Gooch of the 51st, Warwick of the 36th, and others. A bill relating to conditions of detention generally relative to correctional institutions of state and county, Senate Bill 148 by Senator Hatcher of the 50th, Robin of the 5th. A bill relating to public school property and facilities, Senate Bill 149 by Senator Hickman of the 4th, Dixon of the 45th, Williams of the 25th, Burns of the 23rd, Goodman of the 8th. A bill relating to definitions regarding tuition equalization grants at private colleges, universities, Senate Bill 162 by Senator Hofstetler of the 52nd, Watson of the 1st, Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Tillery of the 19th, Walker of the 20th. A bill relating to the Georgia Composite Medical Board, Senate Bill 163 by Senator Moore of the 53rd, Anabarte of the 31st, Summers of the 13th, Tillery of the 19th, Strickland of the 42nd, and others. A bill relating to Brady Law regulations, Senate Bill 170 by Senator Jackson of the 41st, Robertson of the 29th, Summers of the 13th, Halpern of the 39th. A bill relating to commissions and other agencies, Senate Bill 173 by Senator McLaurin of the 14th, Tillery of the 19th, Strickland of the 42nd, Estevez of the 35th, Parents of the 44th, and others. A bill relating to pleadings and motions, Senate Bill 179 by Senator Dixon of the 45th, Gooch of the 51st, Cowser of the 46th, Kennedy of the 18th, Kennedy of the 47th, and others. A bill relating to elementary secondary education, Senate Bill 191 by Senator Still of the 48th, Dixon of the 45th, Eccles of the 49th, Hofstetler of the 52nd, Walker of the 20th. A bill relating to employment security, Senate Bill 204 by Senator Jones of the 22nd, Rhett of the 33rd, Parents of the 44th, James of the 28th, Robin of the 5th. A bill relating to trial upon accusation in certain felony misdemeanor cases and trial upon plea of guilty or nolo contendere, Senate Bill 207 by Senator Strickland of the 42nd, Brass of the 6th, Anabarte of the 31st, Cowser of the 46th, Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, and others. A bill relating to education, food, drugs, cosmetics, health, insurance, and professions and businesses, Senate Bill 212 by Senator Still of the 48th, Burns of the 23rd, Albers of the 56th, Hodges of the 3rd, Hickman of the 4th. A bill relating to other educational programs under the Quality Basic Education Act, Senate Bill 213 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Cowser of the 46th, Albers of the 56th, Rhett of the 33rd, Summers of the 13th, and others. A bill relating to the Fair Business Practices Act of 1975, Senate Bill 218 by Senator Robertson of the 29th, Strickland of the 42nd, Gooch of the 51st, Walker of the 20th, Bearden of the 30th, and others. A bill relating to courts, Senate Bill 220 by Senator Brass of the 6th, Summers of the 13th, Hatcher of the 50th, Strickland of the 42nd, Jackson of the 41st, and others. A bill relating to offenses against the public health and morals, regulation of controlled substance, general provisions relative to the Department of Public Health, Senate Bill 233 by Senator Brass of the 6th. A bill relating to Behavioral Health Reform Innovation Commission, Senate Bill 236 by Senator Wicks of the 34th, Payne of the 54th, Merritt of the 9th, Goodman of the 8th, Brass of the 6th, and others. A bill relating to eligibility and enrollment under the Quality Basic Education Act, Senate Bill 244 by Senator Beach of the 21st, Albers of the 56th, Summers of the 13th, Robertson of the 29th, Tillery of the 19th, and others. A bill relating to general provisions regarding the assessment and payment of costs of criminal proceedings, Senate Bill 245 by Senator Hodges of the 3rd, Kennedy of the 18th, Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Albers of the 56th, Hickman of the 4th, and others. A bill relating to actions by grandparents or other family members for visitation rights or intervention, Senate Bill 252 by Senator Halpern of the 39th, Orrick of the 36th, McLaurin of the 14th, Estevez of the 35th, Goodman of the 8th, and others. A bill relating to acquisition and disposition of real and personal property, Senate Bill 254 by Senator Cowser of the 46th, a bill to amend the Georgia Hemp Farming Act, Senate Bill 255 by Senator Cowser of the 46th, a bill relating to general provisions regarding the General Assembly, Senate Bill 256 by Senator Cowser of the 46th, a bill relating to electric membership in corporations and foreign electric cooperatives, Senate Bill 259 by Senator Brass of the 6th, Dolezal of the 27th, Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Williams of the 25th, Hodges of the 3rd, and others. A bill relating to the Juvenile Code, Senate Bill 260 by Senator Williams of the 25th, Brass of the 6th, Watson of the 1st, Robertson of the 29th, Beach of the 21st, others. A bill relating to the Department of Economic Development, Senate Bill 268 by Senator Robertson of the 29th, Gooch of the 51st, Albers of the 56th, Bearden of the 30th, Payne of the 54th. A bill relating to offenses against public order, Senate Bill 276 by Senator Eccles of the 49th, Strickland of the 42nd, Hatchett of the 50th, Hofstetler of the 52nd, Tillery of the 19th, and others. A bill relating to recovery of medical assistance from third party liable for sickness, injury, disease, or disability, Senate Bill 284 by Senator Walker of the 20th, Brass of the 6th, Kennedy of the 18th, Strickland of the 42nd, Summers of the 13th, and others. A bill to amend the Georgia Uniform Securities Act of 2008, Senate Bill 291 by Senator Gooch of the 51st, Kennedy of the 18th, Robertson of the 29th, Anabarte of the 31st, Walker of the 20th, and others. A bill relating to special license plates, Senate Bill 293 by Senator Anderson of the 24th, Payne of the 54th, Gooch of the 51st, Robertson of the 29th, Kennedy of the 18th, and others. A bill relating to license plates for certain veterans, Senate Bill 298 by Senator Robertson of the 29th. A bill relating to judgments and rulings deemed directly appealable, through second readers.
House will come to order. House members, I'm going to ask you all to take your seats and give your attention, please. We're going to recognize one of the most impactful institutions in our state. And we are also going to recognize some folks who make it work. So, Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Resolution 336? Mr. Clerk.
House Resolution 336 by Representative Willis of the 55th, Crawford of the 89th, and Miller of the 62nd. A resolution recognizing and commending the Shepherd Center upon its 50th anniversary.
50 years of making a difference in people's lives. No doubt. Representative Inga Willis is recognized to speak to the resolution, but first we're going to have a video.
Welcome to Shepherd Center.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, it is my absolute honor today to recognize an institution that is truly saving lives. In addition to saving lives and paying attention to spinal injuries and very delicate medical situations, this is the institution responsible for caring for our colleague who's watching right now. So let's all say hi to him. Hi, Terry. We know you're watching, and we're glad you're getting better. So this resolution is recognizing and commending the Shepherd Center for its 50th anniversary. And with us today, we have a member of the board, Clark Dean, but we are privileged to have Jamie Shepherd with us. What I want to say about the Shepherd Center today, in addition to it being a stellar institution, is that the Shepherd Center was founded in the midst of a tragic occurrence. And it shows us that when we experience things in our lives and choose to give birth to something that serves people, that it can be standing 50 years later. And for that, we say thank you. And it is only appropriate in Women's History Month to say that this Shepherd Center was founded with the dream of a mother whose son was going through a health condition. So we thank you, we welcome you, and it is my privilege now to speak on behalf of the Shepherd Center, Mr. Clark Dean.
Thank you, Speaker Burns. Thank you, Ms. Willis. And thank all of you for this gracious recognition for the Shepherd Center. You know, Shepherd Center is one of those places that you never want to have to need. But boy, are you glad that it's there when you do. The people that come into our hospital are oftentimes facing the worst news they've ever heard. People that are suffering from brain and spine injuries, people who are going through MS, people who are going through conditions of consciousness, massive concussions, our law enforcement friends in the armed services, folks that dive into too shallow pools. You never know when it's going to happen, but we are so grateful to be here as a beacon of hope, turning I can'ts into I cans for those patients who find a way to live and to excel. I'm reminded of one of our patients, Mr. Lovejoy, who was a famous Paralympic swimmer. And I was sitting next to him shortly after I joined the board, talking to him about his injury. And I asked him, I said, I got to ask, how long was it after you had your injury that you started swimming again? And he looked at me and he said, son, he's like, before my injury, I didn't know how to swim. And he said, losing my legs made me a champion. And we are so proud of the patients that come through Shepherd Center that are champions in their own rights. Not all of them are Paralympians, but they're champions, and we hold them up. And we thank you guys for supporting our hospital that brings people from not only around this great state, but around the entire world to get the best care possible for these conditions. We thank you for your support. Thank you for your recognition. We wish that the founder, Alana Shepard, was here earlier today, and she wasn't able to be here for this session. But she sends her best. She sends her love. And we just appreciate all you guys do. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
Let's take a photo. Let me say something first. I would ask a couple of you to ring Terry England's phone, because guess what his ringtone is? The UGA fight song. Because Nolan Smith was just here, so we need to do that for him. It'll put another big smile on his face. Jamie, to your grandmother, tell her we can't even express our gratitude for what Shepherd Center has done for countless people around the world, as you said, Clark, but especially what it's doing now for our beloved friend, Terry England. And for many, I'm sure many of you, as I have had family members that were made whole again by the work Shepherd Center's done. Thank you for being on the leading edge of caring for our neighbors. We appreciate y'all, and we look forward, this body does, as it always has, to work with you, whatever we can do. So thank you very, very much. And God bless you. Thank you, Inga. Appreciate you ensuring this got done today. Ready, Mr. Clerk? Reports of standing committees. Mr. Clerk, will you read?
Representative Beth Campbell, 135th District, Chairman of the Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination has had under its consideration the following bill of the Senate. It's instructed me to report same back to the House the following recommendation. Senate Bill 139 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Beth Campbell, 135th District, Chairman. Representative Hawkins, the 27th District Chairman of the Committee on Health, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Health has had under its consideration the following bills of the Senate. It's instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 6 do pass. Senate Bill 58 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Hawkins of the 27th District, Chairman. That completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Members, Grant and Jamie are going to be in the South Annie room for a few minutes. They have a couple of minutes if y'all would like to go out and express your gratitude and meet them. And now would be the perfect time and maybe even have a photo. Members, I hope you will help me welcome back to this chamber former Representative Timmy Barr over to my left. Timmy, good to see you, my friend. Thanks for being back with Representative Timothy Barr, former Representative Timothy Barr. Good to have you. All right, morning orders. You're going to have a couple of minutes each at the max for morning orders. Representative New and some friends going to talk about some soil and water. Y'all come down and join her. Ladies recognized.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I'm gonna hold it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. We have some special folks in the gallery today. If Travis Strickland, his wife, and Mary and her mother Carla, if they would please stand up. We have a resolution to celebrate Travis today. He is the 2024 West Georgia Soil and Water Conservationist of the Year. Travis Strickland is a fourth-generation farmer whose land is situated between Winston and Whitesburg. Originally, it was a cotton farm through World War I under Mose Strickland. The farm transitioned to cattle upon Mose return from the war and has since been operated by successful generations of family, including Irvin Strickland, a World War II veteran, Donald Strickland, a Vietnam War veteran. Travis began his farming journey as a child, assisting with the family food plot and feeding cattle. And after the passing of his father in 2015, he assumed full responsibility of the farm, where he now breeds Angus cattle. He has since continued its operation with the support of his wife, Mary, and their two young children, Kyler and Tate. In addition to his work at the farm, Travis serves in his community as a full-time firefighter and operates a pine straw business. This distinguished gentleman has given inspiration to many through his high ideals, morals, and deep concern for his fellow citizens. And he possesses the vast wisdom which only comes through experience and the strength of character which is achieved through overcoming the many challenges of life. It is abundantly fitting and proper at the outstanding accomplishments of this remarkable and distinguished Georgian to appropriately recognize him. Therefore, be resolved by this House that the members of this body commend Travis Strickland, the 2024 West Georgia Soil and Water Conservationist of the Year, and extend sincere best wishes to his family and him for future health, happiness, and success. Please join us and welcome him to the People's House. Thank you, sir. I yield the will.
Thank you, representatives. Hey, soil and water is pretty important, isn't it? We appreciate your efforts and what you're doing to ensure that we have food and fiber by protecting our soil and water. Thank y'all. We appreciate it. Congratulations. Chairlady Dempsey is recognized for a morning order in the afternoon. Give the lady your attention, please. She's got some folks that you may know up in the gallery. The lady's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's my privilege today to welcome back someone who is a dear friend of mine, but also is a dear friend of us who worked here 10 years ago, particularly. Anna Miller is upstairs with her family. She's very special, there's no doubt. She worked in the Speaker's office, and one day, actually 10 years ago today, she called in and said, "I can't be at work. My baby has decided to come a little bit early." So she left us. Session was still going on. But today she is here with her husband, Chris, their son, Emmett, who is 10 years old today, his brother, Shepard. There's sweet Ruthie that's not here with us today. I'm going to welcome them in just a minute, but I want you to know how special these children are and truly how special Anna and Chris and their entire family is. Both of these young boys were diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Emmett was 19 months old. Shepard was 3.5 years old. As a family, they have worked so hard to support the cure, the resources, the knowledge, and the life experiences that help others navigate type 1 diabetes with a young child. They have advocated and fundraised for a cure for years and raised as a family over $800,000 to go toward that. Let's all welcome back our friend Anna Miller and her family. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Emmett, raise your hand. Stand up, son. Guess what today is? It's Emmett's birthday. Say happy birthday to Emmett, please. He looks good for 50. Yes, sir. Happy birthday, Emmett. Good to have you with us. Leader Hughley, you ready? Leader Hughley is recognized for an order, morning order in the afternoon. And friends, some folks joined. If you are joining, I guess some folks from Columbus and some other folks. Mainly Columbus, looks like to me. Ladies recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House. Today is Columbus Day at the Capitol, and we wanted to point out to you that you have some snazzy little hats on your desk. This represents the Columbus Clingstones, and we're so excited that we're bringing AA baseball to Columbus, Georgia. I would sing Take Me Out to the Ballpark, but we don't have enough time for that. But we want to say, on behalf of the Columbus Chamber of Commerce and the City of Columbus and Columbus State University and all of our partners in Columbus, we want to thank you for your service as a member of this body. So thank you on behalf of Columbus, Georgia. Wear your hat with pride.
Good job.
Representative Dawson, recognized for a morning order. Give the gentleman your attention, please.
Okay.
And friends.
Good afternoon, Speaker and colleagues. Today I rise asking you to please help me welcome the Mayor, City Council, City Manager, City staff, students, and staff of the Terra School at Serenbe, and other residents of the city of Chattahoochee Hills. It's Chattahoochee Hills Day at the Capitol. Stand up. Chattahoochee Hills is a city here in Fulton County located about 25 miles southwest of the Gold Dome. The city is known for its picturesque countryside, rolling hills, sprawling farms woven with miles of nature trails. Chat Hills is also home of the Serenbe community, and if you know, you know. I want to note about this day that this is a bipartisan effort, Speaker, today in the State House and among the mayor and council of the city of Chat Hills, and a great example of people coming together across party lines to work for the good of the communities we love and call home. We should see more of that bipartisan work, Speaker. Thank y'all. Welcome. Let's give them a round of applause up there in the gallery. Thank you. Yeah, that's right.
Chattahoochee Hills, good to have you. Sounds like you got everything going in the right direction. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for being here. Representative Jasmine Clark and friends. Ladies recognized.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, I am happy to welcome the Gwinnett Democrats down to the People's House. They braved the traffic of I-85 South early this morning, expecting us to be in at 10 a.m., and they have stayed all day because they wanted to see the real work being done down at the state capitol. So they are up in the gallery. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We appreciate you all being here, and thank you for all that you do. Gwinnett Democrats. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Y'all can come down to the ante room and take a picture.
Thanks for your patience and your persistence, and we appreciate y'all being here with us. Thank you. Safe, short journey back home, but come on down to this south ante room, get a photo with you. Representative Marvin Lim, do you want to go ahead and go? Representative Lim is recognized for an order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am pleased to welcome Rockbridge Elementary and Principal McCrea here today. They were also here this morning, but they had a bus to catch, so they may have just left, but we forge on. The school, whose student body comprises students coming from over 40 countries and over 20 different languages spoken at home, is at the heart of my district, and I want to acknowledge the fifth grade student leaders that came today, but I also want to acknowledge the school's leadership in serving as a polling place and demonstrating civic leadership that way, in proactively implementing positive behavioral interventions and supports, among its other social emotional learning programming, and in continuing to be the embodiment of communities in schools, particularly Principal McCrea's proactive on-the-ground partnerships with the neighborhoods and complexes that surround the school, and our work together in the past year addressing resources for the intersection of English language acquisition and developmental disability. I also want to give a shout out to the doorkeepers for being so welcoming to them, and for Chairman Carpenter for playing Simon Says with them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Hilton. He says he has some friends. Well, we're going to see. Yeah. He probably had to pay them, but that'll be fine. Representative Hilton has time for an afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today marks the pre-launch to Pre-K Week, which will take place this fall, October 6th through the 10th. To celebrate with us in the galleries today, we have representatives from DeKalb, but most importantly, we have the Teachers of the Year, Elizabeth Arthur from Lincoln County Elementary and Rachel Robertson from Oconee Preschool Academy in Watkinsville. Give them a big round of applause. You have the mascot up there. You have this on your desk celebrating Pre-K Week right here. Nearly 70% of state legislators participated in the past. I want to encourage you guys, when you get that email this fall, please go out and participate in Pre-K Week. It is one of my favorite things I do. Reading and literacy, we have made a mark in this state. Go read to these Pre-K kids. That's where it starts. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Chairman Bonner recognized for a morning order in the afternoon. Chairman Bonner.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm here today to recognize Crossroads Christian School. They are here today, our 8th grade class. This is the school my son attends. It's our 8th grade class. They're paging today, and in the gallery we have Miss Jamie Peavy, who's our assistant principal. If you could stand up, Jamie, and let us recognize you. Welcome to the People's House. Thank you.
Representative Fleming and Representative Crow recognized for an order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're honored today for it to be Newton County Industrial Development Authority Day at the Capitol. We have about 30 of our community and industry leaders with us that are trying to get here for the gallery, but I don't think they've made it up here yet. Once again, y'all see on your desk this year, you have your Bridgestone golf balls. We're honored that Bridgestone sponsored again the day this year. Bridgestone Golf is headquartered in Covington, Georgia, where every single one of their golf balls are made. And tonight at the Freight Depot, the Blue Room from 5 to 7, they will be having a reception for Newton County. And if you come, you will get your golf towel this year that goes with your golf ball. So come to the reception tonight and pick up your towel. Thank you again, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, members, we have a fairly important piece of business we need to tend to. House Bill 68 is going to take care of this state for another year once we get the governor's signature on it. So, Mr. Clerk, members, if you please come to the floor and take your seats. Mr. Clerk, why don't you hit the bell a couple times? Folks maybe don't know what we're getting ready to do. All right, members, we're going to take up the budget. The budget's been on your desk since 20 till 11 yesterday. So we're meeting all legal requirements for this budget. All members, if you'll please come to the floor. Doorkeepers, if you'll close those doors, you don't have to keep them closed. If you'll close them. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 68?
House Bill 68 by Representative Burns, 159, Jones of the 47th, Abstration of the 104th, Hatchett of the 155th. To be entitled an act to make and provide appropriations for the state fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026, to make and provide such appropriations for the operation of state government and its departments. This bill having referred to the Committee on Appropriations, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, the chair resolves the House into a committee of the whole House for the purpose of considering House Bill 68, the General Appropriations Bill. The chair appoints a gentleman of the 104th, the Majority Leader Abstration, as chairman to preside over the committee of the whole House. Leader Abstration.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from the 155th District, Chairman Hatchett, to present the bill.
Is it on? There we go. Well, I just want to say, just for everyone's information, this is House Bill 68, not Senate Bill 68. There's a big difference. So House Bill 68 is the fiscal year 2026 budget, and it is set by a revenue estimate of $37.7 billion in state funds, an increase of $1.5 billion or 4.4% more than our original fiscal year 2025 budget. If this budget seems a little smaller to you than the amended budget we voted on just last week, your eyes are not deceiving you. It is. While the amended budget included $2.7 billion in surplus funds for one-time investments, this budget does not. And while $1.5 billion in new revenue seems like a lot of money, and it is, it doesn't go as far as you think when you spread it across a growing state of 11 million people who have a wide range of needs, including education, health care, and public safety. I've made no secret about this budget. Things are tight. Many of you have asked for funding for your communities or asked us to support programs and initiatives within state agencies. I wish we could address them all or go further than we did, but we can't. The needs are great, and there are many worthy causes competing for the same limited resources. Much of the new revenue recognized in this budget is tied up in the things we must fund every year, like enrollment growth in K through 12 and higher ed, and increased utilization in Medicaid, or the new revenue is already dedicated, like lottery to Hope and pre-K, and motor fuel to transportation. Still, the needs exist beyond those items. Just last week, we passed a public safety-themed amended budget that included an infusion of cash for the Department of Corrections. And this budget keeps the momentum going with a total increase of $250 million over the agency's prior year budget. Much of the funding in the Corrections FY26 budget is an annualization of the needs we recognized in the amended budget, including funding to hire more than 700 correctional officers to lower staffing ratios and improve bed capacity so that the department can implement life, safety, and security projects. This budget also recognizes that salary enhancements are working to attract and retain staff in the prison system, and it includes additional salary increases to keep our foot on the gas. The House version of this document also addresses deficits in the corrections budget, where funding for vacant positions has long been used to cover gaps in increased operational costs, including utilities and health services. Now that the department is having more success at retaining staff, these expenses must be accounted for and made whole in the base budget. Finally, this budget includes $38 million in additional funding for the 4 private prisons and 21 county correctional institutions that are an essential part of the correctional network and house 11,000 of the state's least violent offenders. Without these partners, the state would not have bed capacity for all of our offenders. Specifically, the budget includes $9.9 million to increase the per diem for county correctional institutions to $30 a day and $28.5 million for private prisons for pay parity for staff and consumer price index adjustment. There are some other noteworthy public safety items in this budget where the House has exceeded the funding recommended by the governor, including $3.1 million for a 4% salary increase for juvenile correctional officers in the Department of Juvenile Justice. DJJ faces many of the same issues as corrections, including hiring and maintaining adequate staff, and the House felt it was important to maintain parity in pay with corrections. $9.5 million for additional community supervision officers who are responsible for supervising offenders on probation or parole and for monitoring their reentry back into the community. Because of improved retention, additional funds are needed. And finally, $8.1 million to offset the loss of the Federal Victims of Crimes Act VOCA funding to victim service providers such as child advocacy centers, domestic violence shelters, and sexual assault centers. While the theme of this budget so far has been on public safety, this is also very much an education budget. The House version of HB 68 includes an additional $500 million in education spending for the over the FY25 original budget. Now, y'all let that wash over you for a minute. $500 million more in education. The House supports the governor's recommendation for enrollment growth and fully funds the QBE formula, but we also include $98 million in additional education spending above the governor's recommendation, primarily on student safety and mental health. The House budget includes $150,000 for a school safety coordinator position at the Department of Education and a $25 million investment for the department to work with GEMA on new school safety initiatives designed to assess and prevent school threats. I'd like to thank the governor for adding school security as a regular funding stream in last year's budget. Those funds are included in this budget as well and provide school systems with additional resources to promote a safe learning environment. But it's become abundantly clear that school safety and student mental health go hand in hand. That's why I'm excited to announce a new program created in the House budget in the Department of Education called Student Support Services. This $62 million program is an umbrella of services, if you will, that's designed to cover the needs of the whole child. It's a collection of ideas and long-time requests many of you are likely familiar with that support our students in ways that the QBE formula can't. This new program provides $20 million in mental health grant funding for middle schools and high schools. School systems will have the flexibility to choose how to provide services, including using telehealth or contracting for the services. $5 million for school systems to hire social workers to do outreach and address chronic absenteeism. $10 million in funding for grantees to provide out-of-school care and programming, or Boost 2.0, as some of you have heard. Federal funds were utilized post-pandemic for this purpose with positive results on academic outcomes. And finally, $28 million to implement a new source of funding for disadvantaged students, otherwise known as a poverty weight. While our equalization grant provides additional funding to school systems based on the wealth and needs of the school system, this funding will be earned and targeted based on the needs of the child. Together, these programs aim to support the whole child with needed services outside the classroom to improve mental health and boost academic achievement. Literacy has been a major focus of concern for members in this body as well as the Senate. That's why the House has included an additional $10 million in funding to implement recommendations from the Georgia Council on Literacy, including funding for 116 RESA-based literacy coaches to support teachers on the science of reading. Finally, we know our teachers care so much about their students and often dig into their own pockets to fund resources for their classrooms. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that this budget includes $7.5 million to fund a program approved last session to provide educators with $100 to purchase school supplies. We look forward to working with our partners in the Senate to fully fund this program. While this budget is heavily weighted towards public safety and education, there are plenty of other items worth mentioning, including $19.2 million to address the shortfall in out-of-home care for foster youth, $6.4 million for a 2% provider rate increase for child caring institutions, child placing agencies, foster parents, and relative caregivers. $3.4 million for 150 new now comp waivers, $32 million in reimbursement rate increases for providers treating patients on Medicaid, $8.3 million in new funding for graduate medical education, including $2.8 million for 150 new residency slots and $5 million to establish a grant program to support new and expanding residency programs. Nearly $10 million in new funding for maternal health initiatives, including grants for labor and delivery services for rural hospitals and an expansion of the state's home visiting program. And $23.5 million to provide an enhanced annual COLA supplement to our state retirees. So I know you're wondering, how were we able to accomplish these things when I told you new revenue was tight? Last year, our state did something novel. For the first time since 1981, we opted to not issue debt for capital projects. In fact, we spent the last two budget cycles cash funding huge investments in our state's infrastructure to the tune of $2.8 billion, mainly with surplus cash. A one-year pause in the issuance of bonds was a fantastic idea to lower the total amount of current and future debt. But it's not a viable long-term strategy to forgo funding real operating needs in public safety and education to avoid using debt responsibly. We will again have a bond package as we resume our normal budgeting procedures. It's just a matter of when. The budget recommended by the governor included $866 million in base funding from last year in the Capital Projects Fund that was recommended to be continued in FY26 for new projects. The House agrees to utilize $545 million for those capital projects, but shifts $321 million of these funds to meet needs in other agencies and recommends issuing that amount in bonds for projects at the Department of Education, Corrections, and the Department of Juvenile Justice. It should be noted that the amount recommended for bonds is 1/3 of the amount normally issued by the state in any year, and the mix of capital projects funded with cash and bonds is still below the ceiling set by the governor. And just to give additional context, debt in Georgia is not the same debt in Washington, D.C., where cash is borrowed to pay for runaway spending. Here, our Constitution allows for the issuance of bond debt for projects, capital investments like buildings and infrastructure that result in something tangible that outlives the life of the bond. So what does Georgia's state debt look like? It's a new roof on your elementary school, a new addition at your high school to meet enrollment growth, or a new building at the technical college to meet workforce demands. It's improvement to state assets, from parks to prisons. Each time the state issues debt, the General Assembly must fund the highest amount of principal and debt service required for the projects, which we have done. As an additional precaution, the state constitution requires that if funds needed for debt service fall short in any fiscal year, the very first revenues received in the next fiscal year must be set aside and deposited into the sinking fund to meet the shortfall. This has never happened because we always meet our obligations. AAA bond ratings are not handed out like participation trophies. They are earned. The designation is given by 3 separate rating agencies who independently evaluate the state's revenue structure, financial position, and habits to determine credit worthiness. Georgia has done the work. Since 1992, we've held the AAA rating for all 3 rating agencies. We're currently only one of 12 states that issue debt with that distinction. That rating has spanned across administrations and parties for decades now. It's a designation we've been proud to claim throughout the financial good times and the bad. This budget doesn't change that. Finally, the House makes an adjustment to the Promise Scholarship based on initial implementation. The governor's recommendation funded the maximum amount of the scholarship authorized, a number that experience from other states and our own programs like the Special Needs Scholarship tell us we will likely not realize in the first year. The House utilizes these savings and redirects them to other education initiatives I highlighted earlier. Together, these 2 adjustments generated funds that could be used throughout the budget to meet the needs of Georgians in public safety, child welfare, health care, and education. It is a thoughtful spending plan that I hope you will support. It was crafted with input from your subcommittee chairs who listened to hours of testimony and the staff of the House Budget and Research Office who help us make these numbers work. And they are Christine, Sarah, Abby, Courtney, Bailey, Morgan, Amber, Anna, Molly, David, and Patrick. Thank you. Colleagues, I ask for your favorable consideration of House Committee Substitute to HB 68. And Mr. Leader, I will take any questions.
Chair recognizes the Minority Leader, Leader Hughley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes.
Isn't it true that I'd like to thank you for a lot of the good things that are in this budget, but I do have a question. Can you explain how the additional amount for the employees' retirement system, explain to me how that's going to work in reality for them, because I'm going to get this question when I get home.
So we have roughly $26.5 million in that program in the budget that allows for an annual bonus payment, 13th payment for our retirees. This increases that amount of what that bonus payment will be every year. So it takes that balance to $50 million, and then the ERS board will apply that to all the retirees. One more payment a year. We've put $1 billion in that fund the last two amended budgets, and the plans are to do another $500 million next year, or this amended budget. That will get that to 80%, which then allows the fund to do some better COLAs, and hopefully they can. So this
Will the
just helps
gentleman
them.
yield for another
Yes.
question? I have to ask you on behalf of my constituents who are always asking me about the now waiver. I know we have done some adjustment to that, but can you try to get more out of the Senate as you move this bill through?
We will try, as I do with a lot of stuff, so thank you.
Thank you.
And what we've done is an increase of 50 over what the governor had put in the budget, so thank you.
Gentleman yield for further questions.
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Chairman Dubnik.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Will the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir. I hope it's easy.
Well, I could ask you something about if you left the Senate in this version of the budget, but I won't go there today. Mr. Chairman, is it not true that this budget passed, soon to be passed here by the House, prioritizes a number of new initiatives for the 1.7 million students and 11 million people in the state of Georgia?
It does, as you said, sir, and it helps a lot of our students and our school systems with programs that they've been asking for help with. And as I said, mental health is on our mind and has been for several years, and this is an attempt to assist our school systems with that issue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your hard work.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Hefner for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is it not true, does the gentleman yield?
Yes.
Thank you. Is it not true that HB 68 recognizes the Georgia War Veterans Nursing Home in Augusta, Georgia, and Augusta University in their partnership and interagency agreement with the Georgia Department of Veteran Services?
Yes, and we supplied more funds to have more of our veterans in those empty beds.
Does the gentleman further yield?
Yes.
Is it also not true that I am excited about supporting this budget because of those funding allocations for both entities, for facility improvements, and it addressed the needs for innovative academic research, infrastructure expansion, enhanced living space, and additional specialized care, as you just indicated, for Georgia veterans?
And I'm excited that you're excited.
Thank you very much, sir, for bringing this bill.
Thank you.
Gentleman yield for further questions.
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Representative Park Cannon, for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Do you yield?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any money in this budget for the Irwin County Detention Center?
What kind of center?
The Irwin County Detention Center in Ocilla?
Don't believe there is. I don't think so, but there is money for our Department of Corrections that if they choose to use that facility, I guess they negotiate and could, but specifically I don't think there is. No.
Okay, thank you. Do you
Thank
further
you.
yield?
Yes.
On section 19.6, why is it a priority for our state to increase the funds at 4% to cover the salary of private prison officers?
Which line?
19.6.
Point 0. Oh, just funding the
Point 1.
funding the increases for private prisons.
Yes, why is it a priority?
We believe that there's a high need to keep parity between our private prisons and our state-run prisons because they don't need to be taking employees from each other, and it does occur, so we try to help them and help us at the same time so we're not stealing each other's employees. Private prisons, as I said in my comments, they are essential to what we do now, and we need to make sure that we take care of them like our own. Go ahead.
Chair recognizes Chair Lady Dempsey for a question.
Thank you. Does the chairman yield?
Yes.
Isn't it true that when you look at this budget and as you spoke to the concerns that it addresses related to mental health, you can find it throughout the budget. It was not that long ago that most of that just appeared in behavioral health. But today, as you read this, you'll find it in education, you'll find it in corrections, you'll find it in public safety, you'll find it in health, and also in behavioral health. We've expanded it in a way that truly does begin to meet the people who need it in the place that they are.
Yes, we have been funding mental health professions for years, and this budget continues to help in that arena. So, Mr. Leader, with that, I'm going to yield the well, and I ask for your favorable consideration of HB 68.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you for your work, and I want to join in thanks for Director Christine Murdoch and the entire House Budget and Research Office staff for your tremendous work. And the chair, once he's back at his desk, the chair recognizes Chairman Hatchett for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that this House Bill 68 do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Representative Chairman Gullett.
Thank you, Leader. With all the hard work and long hours put into this budget that prioritizes our state's many needs, I would like to second the motion of due pass.
Representative Gullett has seconded the motion. At this time, we'll call the question as to House Bill 68. All those in favor shall this time say aye. All those opposed shall say no. The ayes have it, and House Bill 68 passes by committee substitute. The chair recognizes the gentleman from the 155th District, Chairman Hatchett.
Mr. Chair, as Chairman of the Committee of the Whole House, you're instructed to report the action of the Committee of the Whole House to the House.
Majority Leader F. Stration is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Committee of the Whole House has had under consideration House Bill 68 and has instructed me as its chairman to report the same back to the House with the recommendation that House Bill 68 do pass by committee substitute.
The report of the chairman of the Committee of the Whole House is received. The Committee of the Whole House has had under consideration House Bill 68 and has reported the same back to the House with the recommendation that House Bill 68 do pass by committee substitute. The Committee of the Whole House is hereby dissolved. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? Hearing none, the committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? For what purposes Representative Stacey Evans rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, isn't it true that for I believe now the third year in a row we are fully funding All Hope scholarships and All Hope grants at 100% of tuition? And isn't it further true that even with this important spending, we are still holding over $1.6 billion more than the $700 million we are required to hold in reserves, and that it would be great for this House to exercise its authority as an independent branch of government and take that money and put it toward pre-K?
I know the lady believes in what she speaks, and we do appreciate that vote you have on the board, too, as well. Thank you for always being a great advocate for pre-K. Thank you. For what purpose is Representative Carpenter rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Is it not true that this budget includes $9.2 million of additional funding to address homelessness in the state of Georgia? And I appreciate the work of the Appropriations Committee.
Thank you for the question. The gentleman knows of what he speaks. I know he's passionate about that area. For what purpose is Representative Alaye rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is it not true that this is the first time in over 40 years that we've updated the state's QBE funding formula to provide additional resources to support students living in poverty?
Well, the gentleman certainly has an opinion. I'll say yes and no. I've been here a while, but so it's we have been doing a great job of supporting QBE and fully funded.
And isn't it further true, Mr. Speaker, that this is a historic first step toward ensuring that no child's future and their educational opportunities are limited by their parents' financial situation or where they call home?
The gentleman knows of what he speaks. This House is committed to
Thank
the
you,
young
sir.
people and their education in this state, and we appreciate that dedication. For what purpose does Representative Barnes rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Is it not true that we are once again this year feeding over 70,000 children in the state? And we have also added, is it not true that we've added $100,000 to start trying summer meals for the kids as well?
I know the lady is passionate about that and knows of what she speaks. For what purpose does Chairman Hitchens rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry, sir.
Is it not true that while many people think that the private prison system is an outlier of the Georgia prison system, they in fact work together daily? They have a member of the Georgia Department of Corrections on board each prison, and if it weren't for them, we would not be able to incarcerate all the people we have in this state.
I know the gentleman knows of what he speaks, and our private prisons do help us provide a safe and secure place for our prisoners in Georgia, and we appreciate the work they do. Have all members voted? If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? On the passage of House Bill 68, the yeas are 171, the nays are 4. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Congratulations, Chairman Hatchett, all the members, all your subcommittee, and all staff. On behalf of this House, working for all of the people of the state of Georgia, we appreciate y'all addressing the needs and taking time to drill down and make sure we get it right, helping just as many folks as we can. So thank you to staff, thank you to subcommittee chairs, and thank you to Chairman Hatchett. We appreciate your heart. Okay, members, we have a couple of afternoon orders we're going to recognize. You'll have a couple of minutes each for your afternoon orders. Representative Will Wade and then Representative Kendrick will be on deck. Representative Wade. Take your time. They're headed out that way, so you're going upstream there. Chairman Jaspers, you're blocking the aisle. Please move over. You know, you're supposed to be in the right-hand lane if you're not going 65. So you need to move over. Representative Wade is recognized.
Thank you, Speaker. Colleagues, I come back to celebrate the University of North Georgia women's basketball team. They won 3 games at home, and they are the #1 seed going into the NCAA Division II tournament, and they will be hosting round 1 Friday night in Dahlonega. So date night in Dahlonega. Come and celebrate University of North Georgia women's basketball team. Go Nighthawks.
Representative Kendrick recognized for an afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. You have a flyer on your desk for my second tech demo day. So we'll have around 200 people that are going to be here in room 216 of the Capitol on Thursday. We're going to celebrate women in artificial intelligence, and they'll have some displays of the different companies. So please come down and say hello to them. We'll have breakfast and talk to the companies. We always want to welcome people down to their state capitol. So hopefully you can join me on Thursday at 8 a.m. in 216 of the Capitol. Thank you.
That completes our afternoon orders. Mr. Clerk, will you read a caption to a group of privileged resolutions? Getting your steps in, aren't you, Mr. Clerk? Do I need to pause, let you catch your breath? Yes, sir. The clerk is recognized.
Honoring the life and memory of Dorothy Sanders Shaw. Honoring the life and memory of Ms. Catherine Ann Smith. Honoring the life and memory of Elizabeth Cale Newsom Hammonds. Recognizing and commending Stewart Chapel African American Episcopal Church on the occasion of its 160th anniversary. Congratulating and commending Tina Timms for receiving the 2025 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Servant Leader Award. Commending Watkins Ware Southwest Magnet High School and Law Academy Schools 2024-2025 Star Teacher. Commending Moving in the Spirit. Congratulating and commending Janice Bryant for receiving the 2025 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Service Leader Award. Congratulating the Pierce County Girls Golf Team for winning the GHSA Girls Golf AA State Championship. Commending the Sport Fish Restoration Program as part of the American System of Conservation Funding upon its 75th anniversary. Commending and congratulating Lila Lee Purser. Commending Margaret Stagmeyer. Recognizing April 14, 2025 as Cherokee County 9/11 Foundation Day. Congratulating and commending Maritza Morelli for receiving the 2025 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Servant Leadership Award. Recognizing and commending Karen Ramsey. Recognizing and commending the 85 Community Development Corporation Executive Director Frank Lee. Recognizing and commending Boy with a Ball. Recognizing and commending Dr. Jeffrey D. Cooper and Cooper Pediatrics. Congratulating the Carrollton High School debate team for winning the 2025 GFCA State Debate Championship. Commending the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival for its 25 years of artistic and cultural excellence. Recognizing and commending Reverend Valerie A. Thompson on the occasion of her 20th pastoral anniversary, and recognizing and commending and congratulating Dr. Michelle Au. And for other purposes, that completes the reading of the privileged resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privileged resolutions? Hearing none, the resolutions are adopted. For what purpose does Representative Brad Thomas rise?
Make a motion.
State your motion.
I move that Senate Bill SB 9 be moved from the Committee on Judiciary Non-Civil to the Committee on Technology and Infrastructure Information. Both chairmen are in agreement.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption?
Senate Bill 9 to be entitled Act to Amend Part 1 of Article 3, Chapter 12 of Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia Antietam relating to general provisions relative to obscenity and related offenses.
On the gentleman's motion that SB 9, Senate Bill 9, be withdrawn from the Judiciary Non-Civil Committee and recommitted to the Technology and Infrastructure Innovation Committee. Is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. If you have pages today, don't forget you have to come down front before you take off. We're going to move on to announcements. Chairman Corbett is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Two announcements. The Motor Vehicles Committee and the Regulated Industry Committee will be having their committee dinner tonight at Druid Hills Golf Club at 6. And then the Motor Vehicles Committee will have Rural Caucus will meet tomorrow at 12. Thank you.
Representative Chaz Cannon, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Trout fishing today is still a go. We're about to head that way. If you're interested, find me. We've got some vans outside between CLOB and the Capitol that can hold about 12 people or so. I've got the address if you want to take your own personal vehicle, but we've got a window from 2 to 6. The weather's perfect. Everything's provided, all gear and necessities. If you can make it, come out, bipartisan group. Have a great day. Catch some trout. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Great opportunity. Thank you there, Representative Cannon. Chairman Parsons, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Speaker. Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications will meet at 3. I don't think there's anybody in front of us up there. At 3 o'clock in room 403 of the Capitol. Thank you.
Representative Jasmine Clark. Representative Clark is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the Gwinnett delegation, we have a meeting tomorrow by Zoom. It is virtual at 11 o'clock a.m. Please check your calendars or your email for the Zoom link. That is tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. We have some local legislation to discuss. Look forward to seeing you all. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair Lady Cooper, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Public Health will meet, it's upon adjournment today. Public Health will meet upon adjournment in room 606 over in the LOB. Thank you very much, and I will need a quorum, and we do have a bill. Thank you, sir.
Chairman Gunther, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Judiciary will meet in room 132 on Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. We have 3 judicial bills or judgeship bills that should go rather quick. Thank you.
Chairman Parrish, you meeting this afternoon? Wait and see. Okay, I got you. Chairman Parrish,
yes, sir,
recognized.
we are meeting this afternoon. If we get through in time, rules will meet at 9 o'clock in the morning. Room 341, rules at 9 o'clock in the morning. Thank you.
Chairman Dickey. Yeah, we'll be done by 9 a.m., I think, here today. So. Chairman Dickey is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House Agriculture and Consumer Affairs Committee will meet in the morning, 8 o'clock. Got a couple of Senate bills to look at. Hope you'll be there. Thank you. 606, CLOB.
Chairman Leverett is recognized for an announcement.
Subcommittee of Rules on Lawsuit Reform will meet in 341 upon adjournment. That's the Subcommittee of Rules on Lawsuit Reform. Should be a lot of fun.
I don't know about that. That may be taken a little bit too far. Chairman Gullett, recognized for a motion. For an announcement, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Gullett Subcommittee of Judiciary Non-Civil will meet tomorrow at 2 o'clock, room 132 in the Capitol. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock, room 132. Thank you.
Representative Crow, Chairman Crow is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee will meet tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m., room 506 CLOB. We will be taking up a handful of Senate bills and having hearing only. Thank you.
Chairman Werkheiser, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Speaker. The House Industry and Labor will meet tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, CLOB 506. Thank you. We got 2 Senate bills.
For what purpose is Chairman Estration rise, Leader Estration rise?
Make a motion.
State your motion.
I move that House Bill 68 be immediately transmitted to the State Senate.
Representative Estration moves that House Bill 68 be immediately transmitted to the Senate. Is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Well, that completes our work for the day. Page photos down front. If you have a page, make sure you come down. The majority leader is recognized for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that this House stand adjourned until 9 a.m. on Thursday, March 13th, 2025.
My lucky day, the 13th. On the motion of the majority leader, this House stands adjourned until 9 a.m. Thursday, March 13th, 2025. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed will say no. Ayes clearly had it and have it. This House is adjourned until 9 a.m. on Thursday.